Good evening, I'm Shane Jones, leading the news at 7. Government is investigating reports that a number of Barbadians have been detained under the new immigration policy implemented by U.S. President Donald Trump. Prime Minister Frundle Stewart tells CBC the situation has been drawn to his attention. Now, he was speaking on the sidelines of the 28th intersessional meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community.
Only in the meeting this morning, the Foreign Minister showed me a text message or email she just received saying that 19 Barbadians had been identified in this whole process. Now,
Prime Minister Stewart says the prospect of Caribbean nationals being rounded up and deported was not contemplated, but he says it's an issue regional leaders may have to address.
We did not see ourselves as threatened having regard to the statements that were coming out of the United States of America. Obviously, if West Indians are...
Under the recent rules imposed by U.S. President Trump, greater emphasis and resources are geared toward the deterioration of illegal immigrants. Even people who have gained U.S. citizenship are at risk if they have been convicted of certain categories of crimes. CARICOM leaders have been meeting in Guyana to examine how best the regional grouping can secure the future for people of the region. That's the focus of the 28th intersessional meeting, which started this morning at the Marriott Hotel in Georgetown. The agenda broadly covers three main topics: economic development, crime and security, and international relations. Ken Jerson is in Georgetown and filed this report.
CARICOM leaders have a packed agenda for their 20th intersessional meeting here at the Marriott Hotel in Georgetown. Now, the message from the opening ceremony is that given the old and new challenges confronting the community, it's more urgent now than ever for all member states to work together. Those sentiments have been expressed by Secretary General Erwin LaRocque. He also suggested that the most pressing issue currently is the search for sustained economic growth.
The majority of our member states have been grappling with low growth, high debt, and the consequent pressure on the fiscal position. The efforts to combat these challenges have been hampered by such matters as de-risking and the continuing damaging effects of climatic events, among others. Pursuing the course of action to emerge from that situation is therefore of paramount importance. I contend that dealing with those and other challenges demands more than ever that we work collectively and pool our resources.
Ambassador LaRocque says, for example, crime and security are not national but regional problems that require a regional solution. He also notes the need for a focus on tourism, given its importance as the main industry for many of CARICOM's members. Outgoing Chairman and Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt, in his address, spoke highly of the region's response to individual members affected by natural disasters. He, however, wants the grouping to do a better job of implementing its decisions.
Last July, I urged us to use whatever powers we had at our disposal to work towards a speedy and effective implementation of matters we have long agreed upon. Today, many of these matters are still pending, as they languish in our ministerial councils, committees, commissions, and working groups. Whether this is due to them being inchoate, or member states asking for time to consult, or even officials not being adequately prepared, the effect is the same: a hindrance to progress.
Also reiterating the need for closer collaboration among CARICOM members was Chairman and President of Guyana, David Granger. He says the community, for example, has the capacity to meet the food needs of all member states.
Food security will ensure the health and nutritional benefits for our people, earn foreign exchange, and eliminate the bloated bill for importing food. Ensuring regional food security is a cross-sectoral task involving cooperation in agriculture, finance, health, and nutrition and infrastructure, among other sectors. Belize, Guyana, and Suriname, the community's three mainland states, are together bigger than Germany, bigger than Japan. We have the land. We need to commit ourselves to the task of feeding ourselves.
The meeting wraps up with a media conference tomorrow evening. Kent Gerson reporting from Georgetown for CBC News.
Thanks, Kent. The CARICOM single market and economy is too important a regional project to fail. That assertion from Prime Minister Frundle Stewart as CARICOM leaders review CSME during that intersessional meeting.
The project is so important that we have to continue to make sure that the expectations raised when we embarked on this journey in 1973 are realized, because the people of the Caribbean need to feel in their everyday goings out and comings in the effect of being not just citizens of one country, but citizens of a regional civilization.
Prime Minister Stewart believes part of the challenge is that CARICOM is an association of sovereign states and domestic issues are often given greater priority.
In this region does not know that in our prioritizings, we like to deal with the issues that are hottest on our heels at home, rather than sometimes thinking regionally. In fact, very often we do not even see the connection between the problems we're having at home and the broader regional vision. Perhaps we need to see that connection so that we do not draw a harsh line of distinction between local issues and regional issues.
BWU General Secretary Tony Moore is optimistic a national workforce wellness policy could be completed by the middle of this year. The union has been actively working with other groups to have that policy completed.
The National Workplace Wellness Policy for Barbados has emerged in light of the reports on declining health and well-being in Barbados, evidenced by increased rates of NCDs and NCD-related deaths. The policy under the existing framework seeks to achieve the development of a healthy workforce, the development of healthy workplace environments supported by comprehensive and well-guided wellness policies, programs, and cultures.
Ms. Moore was speaking earlier at the launch of the Healthy Living Project at Solidarity House. It is currently geared towards the union's retiree arm. However, she says it could be expanded to other groups in the future.
This program, which I'm now addressing, will be a success only if you, the participants, take it seriously and exercise discipline in terms of sticking rigidly to the advice given to you by your tutors, your facilitators.
Senior Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Kenneth George, says Barbados is facing a non-communicable disease crisis. According to him, the group at highest risk is those over 65.
We estimate in the Ministry of Health that the persons who are 65 years and older, 90% have at least one risk factor for non-communicable disease, and over 1/3 have a non-communicable disease.
Dr. George also stresses Barbadians must embrace healthier eating habits.
Crisis means that there's so many people in our population that have a risk factor for chronic disease. The evidence indicates that 80 to 90% of adults have at least one risk factor. So a risk factor could be being overweight, could be that you're smoking, you're drinking, could be that you are having not the recommended servings of fruit and vegetables a day.
Okay, we'll take a short break here and come back with more news.
Don't let your data experience slow you down. Step up to Digicel, Barbados' fastest 4G network, more than twice as fast as the slow network. Get more with Digicel. Digicel, the fastest 4G network in Barbados. Dial *153 to sign up to Digicel today.
Need affordable motor insurance? Get up to 30% off plus additional discounts for new and used vehicles. Call 436-6200 or log on to beacon.co.tt. Where you need us, when you need us.
CBC Presents is back. Look out for us each and every Friday at 9 p.m. Get a chance to discuss health, and we will explain and bring clarity to many of your concerns and legal issues. Join us via the email talk@cbc.bb or call live at 228-5562 or 63.
Yo, warm to them! Yo, it's your boy Ricky Diesel. Boom, we have the girls in like a fizzle, shizzle. Friday, March 31st, give me soca, bacchanal on the beach, it's gonna be crazy. Boom, and I'm gonna be there. Freaky girl that we love, y'all bend up, you thing on fire. Boom, boom, you thing on fire. Y'all bend on you thing on fire. Freaky girls, give me soca, bacchanal on the beach, I'm gonna be there. Crazy.
98.1 The One is a proud sponsor of Gimme Soca.
The Congress of Trade Unions and Staff Associations is calling on government to implement measures it proposes to boost the economy. CTUSAB says it's also heartened that the Barbados Private Sector Association has also taken this position. General Secretary Dennis DePisa says both organizations are united in their call for emphasis to be placed on economic growth and development as a priority to turning around the economy.
CTUSAB, like the BPSA, recognizes the urgent need for the focus to be placed on the issue of wealth creation, the move to a 24-hour culture, and the development of a management culture at the micro and macro level, and improvements in the ways of doing business. It is therefore imperative that the country moves to adopt a culture of implementation. This will lend to enhance efficiency and productivity and improve the island's competitiveness.
Mr. DePisa is also repeating his call for a secretariat for the social partnership.
Since the year 2000, the Congress has recommended a fully staffed social partnership secretariat should be established. Both CTUSAB and the BPSA envision that this would be a decisive step in getting action taken on the decisions coming out of the deliberations of the social partnership. CTUSAB.
The Anglican Bishop of Barbados says the church will not discriminate against anyone, regardless of their sexual orientation. The Most Reverend Dr. the Honorable John Holder was responding to a question about how the church would react if a member of the LGBT community showed an interest in the priesthood. The bishop says that individual would be treated like anyone else with such an interest.
We moved to the stage, at least in this province, where we stated clearly a few years ago, we stand by that statement, that we are not homophobic. As church, as Christians, as priests, bishops, and deacons, and Christians across the board, our role is to share the love of God with everybody. Black, white, gray, brown, whatever your race.
Bishop Holder, who is also Archbishop of the West Indies, was speaking during a media conference to announce plans for the Anglican Church's annual diocesan service. It will be held this Sunday for the first time at Kensington Oval from 10. Bishop Holder says between 5,000 and 6,000 Anglicans are expected to congregate for the service, the theme of which is intentional discipleship. He adds that a major feature of the day will be the main address from the Malawi-born, the Right Reverend James Tenga Tenga. Aside from the government, the responsibility of protecting the environment rests with every citizen of Barbados. To help spread this message, the Environmental Protection Department embarked on a photo essay competition dubbed Snap It, targeting young Barbadians. The winners collected their prizes during a ceremony at the EPD's headquarters last evening. The 8 to 11 category was won by Leanne Downs of Hinesbury Primary. Second place was Torian Edwards of All Saints, and third place went to Arona Nurse of St. Jude's Primary. Jerisha Bavel of the Ellerslie School was the winner of the 12 to 15 category. Second and third place went to Dominic Jordan of Harrison College and Rihanna Smith of the Dighton Griffith Secondary School. Zuhair Jada of the Barbados Community College walked away with the top prize in the 16 to 18 field. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of the Environment, Edison Alleyne, was moved by the response of young Barbadians to the competition. He reminded them they are environmental stewards of the future.
I was deeply heartened that our young people recognize the importance and value of the environment, and that they recognize that we all are responsible for keeping our environment healthy. Our responsibility at the Ministry of Environment and Drainage, and by extension the Environmental Protection Department, is to develop, implement, and enforce policies and legislation to protect the environment. Contestants, your responsibility is to carry on with the lessons that you have learned from participating in the competition. Do not allow your passion for the environment to end with this competition.
More young people are turning to entrepreneurship to escape rising unemployment levels over the last 2 years. That's the word from General Manager of the Barbados Youth Business Trust, Cardell Ferguson. According to her, of the 135 people who turn to the trust for mentoring, training and financial help each year, women make up the majority. However, she believes this is not a true representation of the ratio of men to women opening businesses.
What we recognize is that males are more reluctant to come for assistance. They will try something, and when it does not succeed, or when they are getting a lot of difficulties that they can't help themselves, that's when they come to us.
Ms. Ferguson was speaking after the trust received a check for $30,000 from Tropical Shipping Barbados. Island manager of the company, Andre Gibson, says it was recently acquired by Seattle-based company Saltchuk. The Giving Committee of Saltchuk has a mandate to find developmental opportunities for young people in the region. Also, the partnership with the Youth Business Trust will be an ongoing one which will not be limited to the provision of funds.
We're pleased to understand the work that the Youth Business Trust does, and it really meets, it's a very good fit to our mandate, so it's a very easy selection, and we look forward to an ongoing partnership. We will have a mentoring role to do as well, with an advisory role to do with now that we are partnering with the Youth Business Trust. So we look forward to the positive outcomes that lie ahead.
St. Lucia's Youth Business Trust was the only other recipient of a donation from Saltchuk across the entire Eastern Caribbean. Another organization has joined the fight to break the stigma surrounding mental health. The president of the Barbados Association of Office Professionals, Clovine Leslie, says the public must recognize stress, not properly controlled, can be a trigger for mental health issues. Ms. Leslie says the subject will be discussed at this year's 20th annual conference themed Holistic Professionals Igniting Positive Change. It will be held on February 23rd and 24th.
We recognize that there are persons out there who are also, many persons who are also suffering with things like depression, and we want that to be highlighted as well. We want to allow participants to gain tips on how to cope with stress, cope with the changes that are coming about in organizations. Sometimes it could be a merger, sometimes it could be the change of management, the change of a new board, and there are a whole lot of changes.
Ms. Leslie says even young people transitioning from school to employment will have to deal with stress in the working environment. This year, 10 students from the Barbados Community College will be attending the conference to get a head start on developing coping skills.
That these students are now getting ready to come into the workforce, and what we have on our agenda this year, we know that it is something that they can take with them into the workforce in terms of their coping skills. In addition, we believe that the information that we will share this year from that, they will also be able to use that within their courses. It could be relevant for their assignments.
The Royal Barbados Police Force is again trying to address the long lines and waiting times for people applying for a police certificate of character. News is that the force will be implementing an appointment system effective from Monday, February 20th. Those requiring the document will now be asked to make an appointment by calling telephone numbers 430-7670 or 430-7671 on weekdays between 8 in the morning and 6 in the evening. The current walk-in system will still be facilitated next week. But from Monday, February 27th, application for a certificate of character will be by appointment only. Last season's Christmas shopping has paid off for 3 lucky women. That's because following a draw on January 31st, they were announced the winners of the Sewing World's 2016 Christmas competition. Office assistant at Sewing World, Dolores Haynes, says shoppers usually start to inquire about the competition as early as October. She adds that Sewing World continues to offer quality products.
Well, people love upstairs for the curtains. That's one of the things that go very well for us, the curtains and the rugs and the clocks and number of accessories. I mean, for people who shop with us can say that Sewing World is truly a store that carry stuff that looks different. And we sell quality stuff, and I think that's most important. We don't just want to sell things that look good, but we want to sell things that are also lasting.
Kim Barrow, Kathy Ann Austin, and Catherine Coombs have all been shopping with Sewing World for a number of years. Over the Christmas period, they purchased mats, curtains, and other fittings for their respective homes. And now among them, they have access to some $5,000 of Sewing World merchandise.
Well, I'm delighted. I never won anything before, and I've been shopping here for years. You know, I've been one of the regular customers throughout, and I feel good. It's good at this time of the year. The times are so hard to see that they're able to give back.
I was shopping in Sewing World. It's 5 years now. I now build my house, and this price will help me to furnish my house. So I'm very thankful for it.
My husband and I will go through and pick up curtains, and they have some really lovely stuff in here, so I'm sure we'll find stuff.
The ladies have until August to collect this year's winnings. Still to come, stories making headlines across our region.